Good morning, you guys. This is the Alpha. Let's call myself that for the time being. Uh, this is my very first YouTube video that's gonna be uploaded hopefully soon. We'll see. I'm not too sure yet, but so the reason for this video, and I thought about it for the longest time actually. So I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about myself. So what had happened was that I was going through some medical events, series of events, something I've been dealing with for a very long time now. Unfortunately, since the age of 4. So, and I'm 24 now, so 20 years later, still dealing with it. Unfortunately, there's no cure for what I have. It's just a matter of, getting it maintained or under control, rather. But what I'm here to talk about more than anything, it's my life having an ileostomy. For those who don't really know what that is, let me give you a little bit of a background story here. So what that is that I'm no longer able to use the restroom like any other normal person. I unfortunately have what they call an ostomy bag. So it's literally just a bag where I happen to do my business. So part of my small intestine is actually sticking out of my abdominal area. In this case, I have it on the right side, and that's where I happen to do my business now. This ileostomy, I'm no stranger to it. I've had it in the past, about roughly 2.5 years ago, and now unfortunately this is going to be a permanent thing. So there is no reversing it anymore. This is for a lifetime now, so I'm gonna have to live with it. And because of this reason, I thought, why not create videos about, kind of having everyone see kind of what my life is like, having to live with an ileostomy, what some of the challenges I'll be facing, what makes it difficult, what makes it easy. A lot of people don't really realize that because I no longer have to use the restroom like a normal person. Technically, you could do your business. It's a lot more easier to empty it out rather than having to wait the restroom. You typically that's what you would want to do. But worst case scenario, you're out there camping, you're in a party, you're somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Honestly, it's just a matter of kind of going in an area where it's private and just kind of emptying out your bag there. As long as you have like some sort of tissues, maybe anything could work, honestly. Tissues, baby wipes, paper towels, just clean the inside of the bag very well and, fold it back up and, continue with your day. But the matter of fact is that, this is a permanent thing now, so I'm just going to see how life goes on with it, and this is, like I said, my very first time creating these videos. So if you guys have any suggestions, something you probably want me to talk about a little bit more, I will. But this is just more of an introduction, kind of explaining what's going on, what I'm dealing with, and let's get to it. So so a little bit about my background. So as I mentioned before, I've had this condition since the age of 4. Originally, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. So what that is, it's inflammation in the small and or large intestines. And, throughout the years, I remembered this type of pain, always being in pain, It was always some sort of abdominal pain. Sorry, I think I see my wife coming. There she is, she's just staring at me. It was always this matter of always being in pain, It wasn't a matter of, like living like a normal kid. It was always I couldn't really hold the restroom, I had to go running, and I was always in constant pain, regardless of how many medications I've given. I remember at such a young age that I was getting about 12, maybe almost 14 pills a day. Many of them were really strong for someone like myself. I remember drinking a good amount of kind of steroids and up to this point I still do, just to control the inflammation that I would have. In this case, they were called flares. But back then, when I was such a young kid, they didn't really know about these things. This kind of condition or medical condition, it's not very I don't want to say it wasn't very well known. Now this type of year, I'm seeing a lot, even kids, I'm starting to see with this type of ileostomy or some sort of bag already having under abdominal. So I thought maybe for this reason, maybe I could educate the parents a little bit more, see what works out for me, see what other suggestions I could suggest for them. But the matter of fact was that, this is what I ended up growing up with. So for the longest time, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. Throughout my childhood, I would always be in and out of the hospital. It wasn't, and the thing is, it's such a roller coaster. Certain days I would feel amazing, I would feel perfectly normal. No one knew about this. And then all of a sudden, then the very next day, I was gone. I could be gone a matter of days, weeks, God forbid, but it does happen, a couple months. Reason for it, like I said, flares. What that is that the intestine gets so swollen because of all the flares. So it's kind of hard to describe, because every time I would go, it was always a different reason. I had a flare, I had a bowel obstruction, I wasn't able to use the restroom. The abdominal pain was just so bad. I was very bloated, or maybe I just had constant diarrhea. It was so bad, it was always something different each time. And there was, and it wasn't a matter of, I was skipping medicines. I was always on time with it. And unfortunately, a lot of them were experimental. So it wasn't even guaranteed that it was going to work. It wasn't really a matter of, oh, this will make you feel better. It was oh, maybe it will, or perhaps it will help you. They didn't really know. So as a child, I did suffer so much that I didn't really have like a normal childhood. Like the majority of my friends were mostly adults, from like people from the ER or somewhere from the hospital. But with that being said, fast forward to where we are right now. Well, let's back it up a little bit. 2020 was when I originally got the approval to go ahead and get the surgery. And this surgery is what I have currently now, an ileostomy. So for those who might not know, I was originally being seen at the Chalk Hospital, and then I was transferred to the UCI. I was, recommended or referred to a surgeon there that they could possibly, quote unquote, cure this condition that I have. And, I was really excited for this because, like after, let's see, 2020, I can't really think right now, but a good amount of years have passed, and I've tried so many different types of medications. I tried different types of IV infusions. I've tried different types of medications where it was some sort of injection too as well, whether it was like once a day, once a month, twice a month, and it works for a while, then it comes back. Or my body created something called antibodies. If I'm correct, I believe that's what it was called. So what that is that my body naturally starts to fight this medication rather than just accepting it. And because of that, the medication just no longer worked for my illness, and then I fall down, get flares, and back in the hospital I'm going. But once I got the approval, because you have to be a certain age, at least at the time, to get the surgery. By the time I turned, I think almost, 20, 21, around that age is when I got the approval to get the surgery done. And the way it was going to work, it was going to be a 3-step thing. So the first step was to remove the large intestines. I will still keep the small one, and that small intestine will now do technically the job of what the large intestine was going to do, and that would be my new, per se, my rectum. Originally that was going to be called a J pouch, so that's what they created. That was the first surgery, to remove the large intestine. The second one was to go ahead and create the ileostomy with that small intestine. But as always, there's always a possibility that it might not work, it might not be long enough. There's always different methods to try to make it a bit longer, and I did. But that second surgery stuck around with me a little longer, because it turns out that after diagnosing the large intestine, there was cancer in there. So it was actually colon cancer. So I had to be seen for that too. And it was just a whole new different level. Honestly, me personally, I wasn't so concerned about the cancer. I was more like, when can we get rid of this ileostomy? Because I was told it was going to be reversed. It just took longer, but it did happen. And then after the third surgery, that's when the whole reversal happened. You know, so thank God I was able to get rid of it at the time, and I was able to live more of a, I guess, quote unquote, a normal life now. It took long, you know, the recovering process was, it was a hassle. You know, I did interfere with my job, my schoolwork. It was very difficult. But now, you know, fast forward to now, 2023, I'm back at it again with the ileostomy. This time around, it's permanent. No way getting rid of it. Now it's forever, and we'll just see what happens. But all right, guys, seems like I have another 10 seconds here, but you know, that's a little bit about myself. I'll start creating a little bit more of these videos in the future, guys. Have a good one.